Hi everybody, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Eight of Wands, and the second card that we have out is Ten of Cups. This can mean that there's a message incoming that you are going to feel happy with, happy about. You can be going through a change and you can have some mixed feelings about that currently. If this is not you, the person that's reaching out to you, they can be going through something right now that feels kind of like, my nose is getting so itchy. They can be going through something right now that feels like their life is not stable because they are going through a transition, and they can have a lot of mixed feelings about it, and they can be dealing with that in a certain way, you know? So if you're not going through something right now that feels like a transition and you sort of feel all over the place emotionally, it looks like there's somebody that you are very close to, that you're connected with, that is in a period of transition within their life. They have a lot of feelings about it, and they can be feeling kind of confused right now, or they can be feeling overwhelmed, or they can just be trying to make sense of how they're feeling. Like today they're feeling like this, tomorrow they're feeling like something else, or maybe within the span of a day they're having like a whole lot of different emotions about something. I'm definitely seeing someone that feels like they're going through it in that sense. I don't know if that's you. I don't know if this is the other person that you're connected with. I am seeing it's somebody close to you if it's not you. Okay, so Eight of Wands can be like a message that's coming in. It can also be about the direction of movement that you're going in. And having the Ten of Cups here is that you're going into a place that is going to be feeling very happy for you, especially on an emotional level. Like for the part of you that is the Queen of Cups, this is the part of you that wants to feel safe. You want to feel like you're being taken care of. You want to feel like you're effectively like looking after those that you care about. It will be a space where you can feel more intimacy. You can be feeling emotionally connected. You can be feeling intuitively connected. You can sort of like feel in your element, actually, is what I'm getting. And I'm wondering too, for those of you that this thing isn't your energy, but it's somebody else's that's going through something, you can be like really comforting to them right now. Because you can be somebody that's like gone through a lot of transition or upheaval within your life. I'm seeing Scorpio here. So you can feel like I've gone through a lot of scorpionic processes, and if somebody close to me is going through something like that, I can be there for them. Some of you, this is a partner. Oh, I do want to say this too, for those of you that it might matter for. When I choose the readings on YouTube, like I don't choose if I'm doing a zodiac reading. I don't choose if I'm doing a collective reading. I have a deck that I use that tells me if I'm doing a collective reading, if I'm doing a zodiac reading, and if I'm doing a zodiac reading, it picks the zodiac for me. So I started doing this a little while ago. All of the readings that I put on YouTube, I do not select who the reading is going to be for. It all comes from a deck that I created, and so that is how I determine. So if any of you are like, why haven't you done a reading for like this sign or whatever, it's because I don't pick any of those. The deck picks. So that is the way that I do it. Just wanted to put that out there in case anybody is curious. So yeah, whether it's a collective reading or a zodiac reading, I just go with what the deck says and let that be that. Yeah, I'm seeing the sun coming out here. This can mean that you're going to get news or information that you feel, having this be surrounded by 10 of Cups, which is like really happy about something. There can be a really big celebration. There can be like something really amazing going on. And then also too, having the sun, this is a lot of joy that is being felt. This can even feel like there's a liberation of some sort. So that's where you're going. That's where things are going. That is the trajectory. Yeah, I get this feeling again of somebody coming through and having really good news. There's a conversation that's going to come to light as well. This looks like somebody that you are very closely involved with. Some of you, you're in a serious relationship with this person, or you're married to them. Or it can feel like you are anyway. You'd be connected with them like that. Because I'm seeing Queen of Cups here, and I'm seeing King of Swords here. And what's connected between the two of these, I'm seeing Four of Wands and I'm seeing 10 of Cups. What this can mean too is that there's talk about a relationship getting more serious, going to the next level for some of you. There can be a wedding that's being spoken about. There can be a living arrangement that's being spoken about. Or there can be a celebration that's going to be happening. It's going to be like all happy stuff that I'm seeing here. Like Four of Wands is a card of like things being harmonious the way that they're supposed to be between you and this person. 10 of Cups, you feel really fulfilled within your connection and just what's taking place currently. And to also have the Sun here, the Sun is a very happy card. It's a very charged card as well. So this does look like the dynamic is being spoken about, or just something that's happening with you and this person, and good stuff. Okay. Someone may be going through, it looks like a career shift. I'm seeing the Death card and I'm seeing King of Pentacles. This can be a career shift. This can be, ultimately, what it comes down to is that somebody's identity is changing. So whether it have to do with career, or it has to do with family, or it has to do with relationships, or it has to do with activities, how one was seeing themselves before and like the jobs that they were doing, something about that is changing right now with the Death card. So this means that somebody's going through maybe like a bit of an identity crisis, this feels like, because this can mean that the stuff that this person like normally tends to, that's going through a change, and that can feel disruptive because this means that their routine is disrupted. And they can have a lot of mixed feelings about this. Just a lot of stuff on the surface that they haven't really gotten deeper down to how they're feeling. Just feels like a lot coming up currently. They can be really having a hard time with this psychologically. If some of you, they may even be like coping with it, but maybe in like not the best of ways. I'm seeing a feeling of being like in grieving. I'm seeing mourning. In the grand scheme of things and in the bigger picture, it does feel like this is a necessary sacrifice for what one wants currently, but that doesn't mean that there's not an attachment to things. Yeah, I'm seeing a really deep sadness with the Death card and Five of Cups. It's like something is happening now, and it can be bringing up a lot of feelings. This can be like when I was playing that role, I wish that I was doing this, or I wish that I had done that better, or like, why didn't I tend to this? It's like all of the unprocessed feelings essentially that this person has had. Now that something's coming to an end for real, it's like all of that stuff is coming up. It just feels like stuff that they actually hadn't dealt with that now is surfacing. So even though it may not, it doesn't look like it all has to do with stuff that's going on right now. This feels like past stuff that they did not deal with that now is coming up, all emotionally. Especially towards themselves and like these standards that they have for themselves, what they feel like they're supposed to be doing and how they're supposed to be showing up, and like all of the feelings surrounding that. There can be loss, there can be grieving, there can be sadness. It just feels like looking at all of this stuff where they're like, I didn't do that, or I didn't do this, or like, you know, that type of thing. That's what I'm seeing is going on with them. It's like when something closes out, having all of those feelings that come up before we feel that sense of closure, and that's what's taking place. Something that's catching my eye about the reading is that you have that going on there, but then over here, I'm seeing everything look like really happy. I'm seeing stuff going on with like a relationship. Some of you, there can be, again, like marriage involved, or like a living situation, or there can be like a celebration of some sort that's happening, and things being good and things being happy. Like the Sun is over here, 10 of Cups is over here, 4 of Wands is over here. Like you have these two people, it looks like they're like really thriving within the relationship, and also then we have that part over here that looks like somebody really in mourning because of what's going on. I feel like all of this stuff is sort of coming to light simultaneously. Okay, so this is somebody that you're in a partnership with. Feels like a lot of happy stuff is happening between you and this person. To have the Sun and to have the Lovers, it can mean that you guys are communicating with one another. It can mean that things are good with you guys. Like there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of enjoying the experience that you're having with them. There can be a lot of focus and attention being brought to your relationship. It looks like you and this person are, there's a path that you guys are now on together, maybe like more officially, and that being spoken about. Some of you, there's a child involved. That may be part of like things that have to be worked out, or why things are moving slowly at times, because I'm also seeing Temperance. This feels like you and this person, you have something going on with one another, whether it be like a romantic relationship, or you guys are in some sort of like collaboration, partnership, working situation, whatever it is that you have going on with them. I'm seeing you guys like be there doing something together. Like you have this common path that you're walking with them, but things are not always easy, and that's why Temperance is here. It's kind of like if you have a certain pace that you walk at, and this other person has a certain pace that they walk at, and you have your different reasons for liking to walk the way that you walk, it's about you guys falling into rhythm with one another, which is going to take compromise, and it's going to take awareness and paying attention and tuning in and listening. It's like all of that stuff that happens, like that's what's taking place with you and this person. And for some of you that a child is involved, that can be like an added thing that has to be incorporated into things, especially when it comes to like, I'm seeing you and this person be like the main cornerstone of the relationship and things being good. And it feels like figuring out like, what does that mean now? Like for some of you, things are more serious with you and this person, and you're figuring out, what does this mean for us now, and like, how do we find our rhythm now that this is going on? And it feels too like there can be a loss of identity because one is stepping into this now, and it can be different. Like for some of you, it can even have to do with like divorce. That can be a part of it. But it can ultimately be like divorce or separation from a past identity that one identified with and may still have an attachment to, and still have a mixed feelings about. But only when I say mixed feelings, I mean more so like they haven't processed everything yet, and that's why that stuff is coming up. But it feels like it's all related to past stuff. So if somebody doesn't have the opportunity to go back into something anymore and do things, there's that acceptance of like, oh, this is how it rests now, or this is how it's left now, and then having to deal with all of the feelings about that. It feels like it's been all put off until okay, can't go back into that anymore. Can't put on that outfit and play that role anymore. And so having to basically like deal with all of that in that moment of, this is not anything that can change anymore. It's like a closed situation now that I can't go back into. So now one is processing all of their feelings about it. And so it feels like that's also going on simultaneously, like with everything else that's happening. And having Temperance here, this can be someone feeling like, I'm seeing Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck. There can be a moodiness, there can be a feeling tired or feeling kind of drained, or like not being into this right now, but it feels very temporary. And it feels just like it's based off of everything that's currently taking place. Feels like on a, I don't want to say a superficial level and imply that this lacks depth, because it doesn't. However, this feels like this feeling that's happening, needing to work with it, because it's more conditionally based off of what's going on within the environment and one's psychological process, and less about one's truest feelings about what's taking place. Meaning, if you have something going on within a relationship and you've been feeling like not that interested or not that into or not that excited about the transition that's taking place, because it's heavy, because there's surrender, because there's shedding that's happening, it's normal. Normalize how it is that you're feeling. But there can be a part of you that like maybe doesn't want to have this process, but it's not really something that you can deny, you know, it's happening. And you're working through it. And working through all of the feelings about it. Yeah, this is like fighting that sense of attachment to something that exists within the world, and so is not, it's not perennial for that reason. It's like an attachment to something that is changing and wanting the leaf to stay the same color, and then the leaf obviously does not stay the same color. It goes through the changes and then it starts decaying, because that is the cycle of life. It feels like there's a coming to terms with that, where one may have very much like impressed upon themselves this like attachment to things staying the same, and now that's not what's happening. And so one is actually becoming liberated through this practice of living one's life and connecting with something deeper that is going to feel much more like there's so much more connection, and there's a sense of renewal to something. It's like you can take that leaf and you can do what you want with it to try to preserve it as long as you can possibly try to do that. Or there can be an acceptance of what's going on and know that like a new tree will grow and new leaves will be there, and like you're never going to run out of that. Like there will always be more of it, and there will always be more to come. And so this feels like having to work with oneself. And for those of you, your partner is working through this, going through this time of sort of trying to like deal with the fact that the leaf doesn't stay like that forever. Like things like the mortality of just anything here within the 3D. And they can also be like fighting being present to it. And to have the devil here and to have the 5 of Wands, this can be somebody that may want to escape all of the feelings that they're having about this because of really having a hard time accepting it. They can even be battling with something too. To have the devil here, it can be something that maybe like eases they think it eases the situation, or maybe helps them like escape from it in some way by avoiding having to accept what's going on. Because I'm seeing a lot of really heavy feelings here actually. Not that it means that things need to be dealt with in this way, but one can be sort of having a battle right now to keep like both feet in reality, essentially, because they're going through something really heavy and it's really difficult for them and it's really stressful for them. And so it feels like even though they're here like working through it and showing up, there's like a battle that they're fighting within themselves. And having the devil here, this is a very, very difficult battle that one is fighting, because the devil can be like, this can be an easy way out so you don't really have to deal with it, even though that's like not true, because we're always going to have to come face to face with it, but it can be putting that off. And so this person can be dealing with the part of themselves that can be seduced into believing that, because it can feel easier. So I'm seeing like a battle that they're going through right now. That doesn't have to be the only way that it takes place, but that can be one way that it manifests. What it is basically choosing between the devil, which feels like the attachment to things, like staying that way, and not allowing the process to continue to unfold, versus getting an Ace of Cups, which will actually be the answer. Like that next chapter of things where what one is looking for can actually be found. And that's currently what's going on. But yeah, one may be having a really hard time sort of dealing with all of the emotional weight of this. They may be somebody that really struggles emotionally to move through heavy emotional processes while being present to what's going on. So those are like the two sides of what's happening. And so if you have things going on with you and this person, and you feel like there's like another side to them, because this feels more so like the masculine energy, which can be having a difficult time processing things and what's going on and being receptive to what's happening, because of wanting to like do things, you know, and move around, but not be waiting and sitting within it and having to process it. They may so be doing things to try to like help them deal with it, when really they just need to sit with it. But also too, it's like their own process and how they're dealing with things. So yeah, I do feel like this is two different sides of someone, and I do feel like there's another energy or two other energies that are involved with it. Meaning there's a Queen of Cups on this side, and there's a King of Swords on this side, and then I'm seeing a King of Pentacles on this side, and it feels like maybe the two different sides of the King of Swords. Like this is the King of Swords over here within the relationship, like communicating, being present, dealing with that. On the other side of the King of Swords, it feels like this person that's going through basically like an ego death. It's a surrendering of an identity and all of the things that come along with that. So if stuff has been feeling weird with you and this person, it's not because of your relationship with them, it's because of their relationship with themselves and something that they're going through. Because it looks like their process is actually bleeding into things with you, and even though it doesn't have to do with you and it doesn't have to do with your relationship, like they're still involved. And so that's why stuff may be feeling kind of weird with you and this person on an emotional level, and it's just because of what they're going through. And also too, they're battling something. To have Five of Wands and to have the Devil, they're like fighting something within them. However you want to put it. They're working with something that's really difficult and can be having a difficult time trying to like win that battle, even though it shows them really putting in a lot of effort here to not succumb to this. At the same time, this can feel really tempting because what they're going through is heavy, and so like they may be just, this is something that they're struggling with. And so just know that too. It doesn't have to do with you, but it does have to do with you. It doesn't have to do with you because it's their own thing, but it does have to do with you because you're in a relationship with them if you are the Queen of Cups here. And so things may not be happening sort of exactly. You may just have to be more patient with things. Like you and this person, I'm seeing there's like, you guys can be very much in rhythm with one another, but this person has this baggage that they're carrying behind them. And so the pace that they walk at is impacted by this. And so you may have to like lag because of it, because of them dealing with that. What I'm seeing though is the Ace of Cups, so it feels like there's like a lot of potential here within the relationship with you and this person, and it feels like with Temperance, you being encouraged to sort of be there and be down for the process while this person is going through this, if you want to. Because I'm not seeing any issue be with your relationship with them. I'm actually seeing things be like, energetically speaking, you and this person seem very compatible with one another, and that things are really good between you guys. They just have their own baggage that is impacting things, and at the same time, this is a process that will be concluded eventually. And so that's what's going on. This feels less about you trying to do something about this and more so about you being given information so you know what's happening. And as this person will need to show up as the King of Pentacles with you, because they're in that liminal space of like, I used to be this person and doing this thing, and now I have to be here with them doing this thing. Like, that's why they haven't totally shown up in the relationship in that way, because they're still making that transition essentially. And they're like learning how to do that. They're going through a great transformation within their life as it relates to the part of them that is the King of Pentacles, which is the part of them that is organized, timely, dependable, reliable, able to show up and invest in the relationship, really, where they can be very like the trunk of a tree, like stable in that way, and you can lean on them, and firm. This feels like they haven't totally made that transition over because they're still going through their process of the transition that they're making. There's a lot of stuff psychologically that they're moving through. I feel like you would be aware of this, but I do feel like a slight separation between the two of these things. So maybe there's some stuff that they've been dealing with that, I don't know, for some of you to have the Death card and to have the Devil here, it can be stuff that like this is their battle that they're fighting, and they may not want to like ruin. I'm not saying that it would, but in their eyes, they could be like, I don't want to bring that darkness into the relationship because things are so good with us and all of that. However, like, it's all related. So they just may not have also made that connection too, you know, that as much as they may try to keep something separated, it still impacts things. And so, yeah, that's what I'm seeing going on. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.